So this is a talk entitled How Geizhals Took Out ImageMagick Before ImageMagick Took Us Out.
Us meaning Geizhals.
Us being Geizhals. Now, yeah, this is us is Geizhals. Yeah, we're hiring.
No kidding.
But unfortunately, as you can see, a content manager from some Datenpflege, it's Redaction Posts, and it's in Vienna, so it's unlikely to be anything that anyone in this room would enjoy. But this is where on the main page template job ads appear. So if in the future we're hiring tech people, look there. Geizhals.at, Geizhals.de, our job adverts are there. Yes, please visit our site. But this is actually a talk about images. And well, not those images, but specifically product images. And for example, actually we have some product images here. Those are a smallish thumbnail. And here is a product page, and this is the meat of it. Yeah, my example is an image we got direct from a manufacturer. And here is a full-size image, and we were using ImageMagick for various things, one of which was to generate thumbnails, such as the one I just showed you. And here we have a little thumbnail image of Bombay Sapphire derived from that image. And so that's what this talk is about, what we're doing to make those. So a brief digression onto what is known as the robustness principle, or often Postel's law, after John Postel, who used it in many of the early drafts for how the internet should work. For example, the TCP specification. Be conservative in what you do, be liberal in what you accept from others. I mean, that's very nice, but the internet, when all that was done, was back then was a much, much safer place. For example, if you searched for American Fuzzy Lop, then Veronica would direct your Gopher clients to pages about rabbits. Now, ImageMagick, yeah, no one's figured that joke out. That's how old it was. ImageMagick is not quite as old as the internet or TCP or animated GIFs, but it's getting on to be that old. I had a note somewhere. I think it's, oh yeah, 1st of August 1990. Wow, I've got a note that worked. Now, it also tries to be liberal in what it accepts. It reads and writes over 200 formats of images. Now, you see, that's great, but we care about 3 formats. The problem is that it cares deeply about the other 197 too. And it will happily try to do the right thing if presented with some obscure format. I mean, better yet, you can't even disable support for all these formats that you don't care for. And yeah, even if you firewall it, you put it behind some other program that says, well, this is not, oh good, this is a JPEG, and only give the things that you think are JPEGs or PNGs or GIFs to it. Well, that doesn't work either, because inside it has a sort of black box router of, no, I think this is something you didn't know about, which would be fine if it ended there. You know, it says, well, you thought it was a JPEG, but you know, actually, I think it's an RLE, whatever that is, format. Then, yeah, okay, an unreadable JPEG, we're not going to get a thumbnail out. An unreadable RLE, we're not going to get a thumbnail out. We have no thumbnail, fine, end. Except it's not like that. So another kind of backstory, there was this meme, internet speed. It was this cow manure from the first .com bubble. Your company, it must run at internet speed. All other business rules no longer apply. And if you weren't running a business, about 2 years later, everything crashed down because you just went bust faster than everybody else. Now, the problem is that internet speed has come to pass in a much, much more horrible way. It's now made real. Bug finding tools, scanners like American Fuzzy Lop, the rabbit I showed, enable security researchers and black hats to find bugs in software faster than ever. So for example, ImageMagick had 88 CVEs, common vulnerability, whatever they are, allocated in 2016. It had 225 allocated in 217. And as the headline for the register put it, Yahoo discovered that, that's the edge of the screen, that they were at risk from ImageMagick. They were using it, not exposing it directly, they were using it internally to generate thumbnails of images sent through mail messages. And security researcher demonstrated that if you put a carefully corrupted JPEG into an into a message, their thumbnailer would run his code. Yay, great. Now, We're not doing that, but we've got something similar. That image of Bombay Sapphire, our editorial team will have downloaded it from a merchant site with permission to use it. Now, if some nasty hacker comes in and nobbles their site and corrupts their images, we download them, we run it through ImageMagick internally, we're pawned. So, yay. We have to keep up to date on ImageMagick. And it turns out that Perl Magic, that is complete pain to build with your own Perl. And we are nearly at the end of migrating from various Debian system Perls to actually having our own Perl. So we decided it had to go. I think I'm okay with the timing. So I mean, what do we want? What were we using ImageMagick for? We were using it to resize images, like that thumbnail I showed you. We were using it to sharpen the images when we cut them down to small size. And we were also using it to read image comments and to write image comments. And we care about 3 formats, JPEG, PNG, and GIF. There are plenty of modules on CPAN. Surely something can do the job. So, well, the first obvious choice is Imager. Great module. Underneath, for handling them, it still uses the same underlying C libraries, libjpeg, libpng, and giflib that ImageMagick uses. So that's great. That's not going to change. So, okay, looks cool. This was one of the things we were doing. We were actually shelling out to ImageMagick command line tools. So we're running convert, sharpen 3 to sharpen it, force the background to white, flatten. Okay, what's all that mean? Can we do that in Imager? Well, it turns out that sharpen, the ImageMagick sharpen 3, appears to map to a feature in Imager filters called sharp mask. Although then came the first little problem. Sharp mask takes 2 parameters, standard dev and scale. What is 3? You start looking at the ImageMagick documentation and you weep because it is unclear. So actually this was done with a bit of an empirical test. We tried various settings for these because we weren't even sure if it was exactly the same algorithm, and eventually found that it seemed to be that, what's my notes say, that we set standard dev to 3 and we kept scale as the default, which happens to be 1. The next thing in this, what's background white flatten? Well, it turns out you can also do that fairly easy in Imager. It's a bit more verbose. You must create a new image of the correct size. Then you, which is kind of a blank canvas, you fill the entire background to white, and then you do another method called rub through, which kind of pastes over the original image on top of the other one. And that, what we're doing is getting rid of transparency masks in PNGs. And yeah, I mean, this is where Luke asks Yoda, so is ImageMagick stronger? And Yoda kind of goes, no, no, no. It's quicker, faster, and more seductive.
Is there error in code?
Well, I think it works.
Install a thumb and then store small there.
No, there's 2 images.
There's 2 images?
Yeah, we create a new one, and then we take the other image and rub it on top. This is pasted production code, so yeah, that's fair. There is a bug I found later on while writing the slides, so yeah. Anyway, at this point, we have to take a digression onto specifications about comments, because we seem to have got the manipulation going. What happens with comments? Well, what does the GIF say about comments? It says, the block is intended for humans. It should contain text using the 7-bit ASCII character set. Well, come on, yeah, GIF 89. UTF-8 wasn't even invented till September 1992, so yeah, fair enough. Position, this turned out to be important. The block may appear at any point in the data stream which to the extent possible. What this means is you can get image followed by comment, or comment then image. This turns out to be relevant because we have lots of data with either way. What about PNG? Well, that looks pretty good. This is nailed down really well. Keywords shall be spelled exactly as registered. In particular, keywords are considered case sensitive. Capital C in comments. Plenty of non-spec conformance software. Mention no names, ImageMagick. Writes out comments with the lower case. For the Z text and TXT peng strings are expected to use the Latin 1 character set. Nailed down. The iText chunk provides support for international text represented using the UTF encoding of UCS. Cool, nailed down. I have to go faster, sorry. On comments on JPEG. Is the interpretation is left to the application. Yeah, we end up roughly with this heuristic. It's going to be text. Okay, we'll try and see if it's complete valid UTF-8 all the way. We should treat it as such and end up with Unicode characters. Otherwise, we shall assume it's Latin 1. And if we show emoji bait, yes, sorry. That's what I want to do. What does the imager do? Okay, GIF comment. The first block of the first GIF comment before each image. Yeah, no, we've got some afterwards. That don't work. Pings. Text tags are retrieved and written for Z text to iText and, sorry, those two. iText is not mentioned. The keyword is comment. Tongues that we don't recognize are read or written from these two. Yeah, I thought that too. Oh dear. Because that means I have to iterate through all of these if someone has written a lovely non-conformal ping, which we have many, and I have to deal with oh no, this isn't going to work. So I kind of figured out what were the corner cases. Well, Unicode like the corner case. Binary garbage, embedded null bytes. All of them have length on their comment thing, so you can actually put null bytes in and how things ping out of conformance. GIF comments anywhere, and there are various formats that allow multiple comment blocks. And how do we handle those? And I built test cases for all of those, and then started to throw them at other things.
Question: the comments. Do you want to use the comments or just strip them?
We keep them and display them. This is why we're reading comments at times. We also strip comments, and we're able to manipulate editorially manipulate comments so that we show those comments to them. So I have my test cases of ASCII, an octet, which is Latin 1, the same octet sequence for UTF-8, that's a pound sign. What appears to start with a bomb marker, and then actually is Latin 1 to see what breaks. What's really a bomb marker, that's actually a euro symbol, a pile of poo, a null at the end and a null in the middle. And one I forgot for a while, let's just test with no comments. And I threw them at various modules to see what was going to happen. So there were basically two that seemed to be available. ImageExif tool, which says it reads and writes comments, cool. And ImageInfo reads comments. And then you read the spec for ImageExif tool, if you can get your editor to go that far. And it says, requires Perl version 5.04 or later. No other special libraries are required. Oh god, this is dinosaur era Perl. Well, yeah, actually Debian Rex came out in, which came out in 1997, had 5.00307, so that's not quite exactly right. It requires the version of Perl that shipped with Debian Ham, which, you know, is so long ago that Angela Merkel wasn't even Chancellor then. She was Minister for the Environment, something, and Nuclear Safety because Helmut Kohl was Chancellor. And I have flashbacks to the menu at the Brauhaus last night because I've got cabbage and pork and that, you know, 90 of them, yeah. So what about ImageExif tool? It says, when reading, most known encoders are char set option, UTF-8 by default. Yeah, it really gives you UTF-8 octet sequences because it has to support all that dinosaur era Perl. And it says the ZText and use ISO Latin 1. Well, the iText uses UTF-8. And it converts all ping textual data to the character set specified by the char set option. That, yeah. And then I ran it on my test cases, and I got some really interesting things that were not UTF-8 octet sequences. Yeah, really. Latin 1. You keep using that word. I do not think that it means what you mean. Because I started looking in the code, you know, Latin 1 is Latin, but, oh, whoa, code page 1252 is now I want to get the octet sequence back because I don't know what the image character set is and then process it. And then I found this horror, which basically maps all the C1 control characters, Latin 1, treats them as 1252. Oh, God. And then it turns out it only does that on reading, so it's not actually reversible. And it strips trailing nulls on JPEGs, but not GIFs. Yeah, my progress bar looks okay. So, yeah, no, that's not going to do. Let's go off and try ImageInfo. It returns me the raw octets. Cool, no messing. It returns everything, so it returns both comments and non-conformant comments, and I can decide which one to take. Just to be inconsistent, it strips nulls on GIFs, but not JPEGs. Yay, we're winning here, except it doesn't support iText. Bother. Well, that was only a smop. Small map programming later. Yeah, it was about 2 hours, actually. Wrote a test case, sent it off to Slaven, job's good. So it does now. Yay. Where have I got to? So actually we ended up with pretty much this as our reading code. We get the raw comment back from ImageInfo. If it's conformant and says comment, we take that. Otherwise, oh God, we just use whatever was there. If there's more than one of it, because they put multiple comment blocks in, we arbitrarily do something, which was to take the last one and log that we took the last one. That was all that I removed. And then If it's a PNG, well, the spec says this, so, well, if they put MojiBake in it, they're going to get MojiBake. And otherwise, if we've got a raw comment, as I said, GIF says ASCII, JPEG says whatever you felt like. We do this, which is attempt to decode it as UTF-8, and if that passes, make the null bytes consistent. Otherwise, just give them MojiBake. Now, actually, there were two bugs, the one I spotted right in the slides and the other one. First bug is, yeah, look, eval, carry on. We don't log anything if that fails. That's going to get fixed. And the second one is, I'm not quite sure about having that only inside the eval block, but no one really should be putting null bytes in. It just made my test cases easier. Okay, I have 5 minutes to do writing, and my progress bar is looking good. And I don't think I've forgotten anything. Image EXIF tool, this looks fun. It didn't do what I expected, and I went and looked, and I went, okay. InRef is glob, or blah, or InRef, or ELSIF. Version is that, and eval require encode, and oh god, and I can scroll this sideways, and it's just, I don't think I like this. Let's make it clearer. If the version is 5.06 or later, then we require encode, and if this is true, or that was an error, then we enter this block, and then we make a decision based on that. Oh, God, they micro-optimize this. And then we do this, and yeah, I know about those, and I know what they do, and I don't want, or that. And the documentation for encode says, internal! Yeah. Test whether the UTF-8 flag is on the string. If check is we don't do check here, doesn't matter. And so, you know, if it internally is represented as UTF-8, then I shall encode it for you. Otherwise, if it's not, I don't want you to do that. Let's not go there. Let's just avoid all of this by ensuring is UTF-8 is false. I can do that. So I did this. And it still didn't work. Because then I sort of found like this. If the char set says it's Latin 1 and I find something that doesn't look like ASCII, then I shall set itext. Cool. If itext is set, I shall call encode and encode it to UTF-8. Oh, I was calling encode again. And I thought, no, wait, Mo, let's look, what is encode? Well, hang on, this slide does not fit. Someone didn't test this. I shall have to read out the bottom anyway. There. Encode. Encode, with the method described with the prototype, is a special case of decode. Decode, and sorry, the phrase ghosting is, well, if from not equal to 2 and options, yeah, I have to scroll that down. Yeah, if from not equal to a length val, then do something. I don't think that's clipped. It is. Oh.
Oops.
Yeah, I did that. Anyway, if from not equal to 2 and length val, it enters some stuff. So if I don't go there, I can avoid entering that block by ensuring that from is not equal to 2. And then I can hack around all the helpful things it's doing and do it. So the code we ended up with, and I think I'm still on time, is that we did this. Yeah, we try and see whether what we had will fit into Latin 1. And if we get in here, UTF-8 flag internally is off. We set the options to Latin 1. Because we noted, I found all these useful comments that I wrote 6 months ago writing code. It turns out I write non-conformant pings, because if otherwise you'll end up saying it's an itext block, taking the sequence of thing you gave it, which is Latin 1, and that's not conformant. And if it is Unicode that our comment had internally, then we manually encode it to a sequence of UTF-8 octet bytes, tell it that it's UTF-8. This one ensures that its UTF-8 is false. That one ensures that the decode called by the encode does nothing. And then it will write out the sequence of things I gave it in the format I gave it. We handle all the encoding. I hack all these char set options to stop it being helpful. And it worked. And sorry, are you going to tell me I've got 1 minute?
Yes.
Good. I might even get to the one bonus slide.
Don't worry, there's a coffee break after this.
Oh, okay.
There's only a 10-minute talk in a 20-minute slot, so if you...
Well, no, yeah. We came to the conclusion that for image manipulation, we could get rid of ImageMagick by using Imager for all the manipulations. I should add that we thought we needed rotation, but we found that the sub-site that used that was generating so little useful traffic, we killed the code rather than adding rotation, but Imager would do that. And basically, as most of our things are ASCII JPEGs, you can rely on Imager on ASCII JPEGs, and pretty much if it isn't an ASCII JPEG or it isn't ASCII or turns out to be not ASCII in the comment, we carry on to the hard code where we used image info to read the comments, which handles everything, and we used ImageExif to write the comments, and we're sorted. And all our code, as far as I can tell, handles Unicode comments and all the formats we care about just nicely. The end. Yeah.
Why didn't you write an easy XS wrapper around the libraries? They're quite simple to access.
You're probably right, but I'm not going to be the only person maintaining this code. That's a reasonable question, because it looked like this was going to be the easier path. It may not have been, but
I did it before. It's quite easy to do.
Okay, but I'm not the only person maintaining this code, and our deployment system really doesn't cope very well with the idea of custom XS modules, as far as I know. We've got something using inline XS, and then we hack around this in various ways. So it hadn't occurred to me, but I think it would sort of be harder. And this stuff I can explain to my colleagues who don't know C. Yeah, horses for courses. I didn't want to write XS. No, fair question. Oh, sorry, I didn't repeat the recording. Anyway, yeah.
So, I think most of the people in this room probably did not know that there can be comments in images as metadata. How often does this, I don't see marketing people do this somehow. Or is it just like they use a software and write a comment in the image, in like a metadata field?
I actually don't know. You didn't. Or I probably should repeat the thing for the recording. How many folks not in this room or not anywhere use comments? What I can say is that we do put comments in certain images where we have them from other sources to say that they are copyright or we have permission to use them from that. So we attribute copyright in comments ourselves. That's part of the writing of it. And you were going to expand on that or not?
I think Photoshop does a lot of comment insertion in images.
Okay, for the recording, Wolfgang says, that's right, yeah, Photoshop does a lot of comment encoding. On my left.
No, just an example. We actually hit the code for the license checking in a GIF command in a company I worked for.
Hang on, you hit the code for that? Right.
We just extracted the command and then evaluated it as Perl code and then checked the license key.
Sorry, I've probably just blown the mind. We have Perl code in databases with eval encoding comments. Oh, I shouldn't give them ideas.
Nobody ever found that.
I'm not sure if it's true anymore, but I think every ping you export in GIMP has a comment in it saying this image was made in GIMP. So basically 50% of all images on like SourceForge or something have a comment in them.
Yeah. Okay, that might also be a source, but I don't suspect SourceForge is not a source of our project images, which is why we haven't hit them. But anyway. Oh, really?
If you're going to be displaying the comments that you pulled from files from other sites,
yeah, keep going. It's
how do
not.
You trust that?
Actually, most of the time we were stripping comments, but that's a fair comment. I don't know. This is an editorial question. I should go through and look what comments we've got. I know that we had some with binary poo in them, so yeah, how do we trust the comments that we got from others? I think we trust them. Yes, this is maybe stupid.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
Have you looked at ImageMagick? That's a 2003 fork with focus on security.
I think we also saw that it had a run on CVEs. Yeah, have we looked at ImageMagick? Yeah, but we figured it was probably still going to have the same level of fun with all the obscure formats. We did think about this, and I was a bit dismissive of it at the level of it's probably going to have all the same fun with all the formats we don't care about, and we're still exposed to 0 days in those formats that we don't care about. So yeah, even though they're focused on security and I believe portability of building, as I said, portability awkwardness of building was one of it. It looked like it didn't win us as much as a keep it simple, stupid solution. It also looked like Imager was going to do everything until it didn't. What?
In ImageMagick, you have this automatic detection of what format it is, but
Yeah.
you can also explicitly specify the format of your input files.
Well, I
Did you
maybe
figure out that is that ignored in some cases?
this might just mean that I failed to notice that that you could force it.
You lead the file name with the type colon.
Yeah, that's probably me failing to find the right piece of the documentation, but I didn't enjoy it. There won't be time for the bonus slide, which is a bit of a rant about some of the documentation being inconsistent. No, I think we decided that we didn't enjoy building it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of pushes in that direction, but yeah, thank you for clarifying my thoughts on that. We didn't know about that. I guess I should stop. Oh, let's.
Coming back to the title of your talk, do you have any puns on takeouts or outtakes?
Well, it's more that take out is we took it away, whereas taking someone out, it's a pun on killing someone. So yeah, sorry, that was an English language pun that this room didn't get. It was intentionally a pun. I should probably stop, shouldn't I? Let Dax in. Okay, thank you very much.